What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode here at Tremolo. So today we're gonna finally reveal the Grand Wagoneer. It's already been posted a few times on Instagram. I already showed it to a few people out at King of the Hammers, but this is the grand reveal here on YouTube. I actually filmed this outdoors already, but for some reason the GoPro didn't capture any sound. So we're gonna do this intro real quick, and then we're gonna jump right in. Enjoy this episode. Comment below. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the build. The real plan is to get it out to Full-Size Invasion in September out in Moab, but we still have a long road to get to there. So enjoy this episode. Let me know what you guys think of the new rig, and it's gonna be a hot one. So here it is. You have our 1989 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. We've had it for about 6 months. We've been working on it on and off, trying to get it run correctly. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you've probably seen some videos of it starting, of it driving around, and then we also took it out to King of the Hammers. But today we're gonna give you a brief breakdown of what we've done and what the plan is in the future. We're gonna start off with the front, and then we'll move on to the side. We'll talk suspension, tires, interior, and all that good stuff. All right, so first things first, we're gonna start with the front. We did get rid of the front bumper and went with the steel bumper just so we can have some reinforcement. We are gonna be rock crawling this. The plan for the actual Grand Wagoneer is to see Full-Size Invasion. It's in September, and it's out in Moab. So we went with the BNL. This is a one-of-one piece that was made for us for the front end. And then we obviously went with the super winch. We tucked in a 9500 Talon. So if you've never seen a Talon run, we'll show you that in some future videos, but it's one of the fastest winches out there. So we stuffed that in there, and obviously we went with some Project X biggies. These are the FF90s, similar to what I have on the Bronco. These are just a lot bigger, obviously to fit the full-size look, but they look amazing. The winch, the bumper, everything is pretty much set up here in the front. We're not going to do much else because we do want to keep the classic look. Front end is looking tight. We did do some vents up in the top for the hood to get the engine cooled down a little bit while we're out there in some of the hot days. But other than that, the front end is going to stay just like this. We might do just a little bit of touches, new windshield, things like that, but the front end is complete. So now we're going to move on to the side, talk about suspension, tires, rims, and all that stuff. All right, so moving on to the side, we did go with some Method beadlock technology rims. They are not full true beadlocks because I have a kind of a tendency of not really needing them. I've never debeaded the way that I wheel. I've never had issues with them, so we decided to go with the Method wheels. The offset is 0, so we're gonna probably put some spacers or either switch it up if we need to, just so we can push the tire out a little bit. The plan for right now is to leave it as is. We might get a new tire just because it has Patriot tires that we just came up on, but we are gonna keep it 37s, maybe move up a step, or maybe a 38. But right now we are getting a little bit of rubbing, so we're gonna clean it up a little bit. But the plan is to keep it in a 37-38 range. This Grand Wagoneer does come with Dana 44's front and rear. It is cool because it's like the full-size XJ of the family. It does have all the stock fake wood trimming, so everybody thinks it's real wood. It's really not real wood, but it does have the texture and it looks really cool. So we're gonna leave basically the body the way it is. We're just gonna modify it, put some armor on it for sure. So you see it doesn't have any rock sliders right now. We will be putting some rock sliders that either Oscar or Danny are probably gonna fab up for us. Just to protect the sides, we're going to try to keep rocks off the body as much as possible. As for the suspension, we went with the BJ Offroad suspension kit from them. It's a 6-inch lift, so it has a 2-inch body lift, and it does have Devers front and back. It also comes with Procom shocks. We're probably going to replace those and get a little bit of an upgrade because we did notice once we were kind of moving through some speed, the shocks started tapping out, so we probably upgrade the shocks a little bit. The Devers are awesome though. Again, they're front and rear leaf springs, so it is going to give us some flex. We might have to get some relocation shackles and whatnot. The truck actually rides really well for what it is right now. So I don't plan on really messing with the suspension too much more. The next thing we do have to fix is the transfer case. I'll show you guys what we're working with now and what we're going to go in the future. But we're going to move to the back. I'll show you what the plans are for the rear. But the body on the side, this is basically what you're going to see the rest of the year, other than some sliders, maybe a little bit of armor. But everything else will stay the same. We're keeping the white with the wood trim. A lot of people remove this and go with the full paint, but we're gonna keep it classy. We're just gonna, again, try to keep rocks off of it. But let's move to the back, show you what the plan is back there. All right, so for the rear, the real plan is really kind of what it is on the side. It's just to get a rear bumper. We are gonna do a little bit of chopping on the body, so there's a line here that we're gonna follow all the way across. We're gonna get a 2 bumper. Real simple, real tucked in, because we don't wanna lose any of the approach or departure angle. So we wanna make sure that we keep everything we do on here really tight, because we're not going to go crazy on the lift anymore. We're just going to kind of leave it where it's at. We don't want to be swaying too much off the rocks or anything like that. So we are going to do some sort of custom fabbed bumper here. We're going to remove the hitch, keep it all nice and tight. As for the back, I mean, there's really nothing else we're going to do. Maybe get some LED tail lights, keep the same factory look, just bulbs pretty much all the way around, headlights, tail lights, all the interior lights will have to be switched out. One thing that we do have to work on is I don't have the original key for the door, so you should be able to lower down the window, The switch inside does work. We just found that out, but we do need to get a locksmith to give us new keys for this outside door because it was different. But other than that, for the rear, that's all we're gonna do. Next thing we're gonna talk about is the power plant. So this Jeep Grand Wagoneer in '89 came with the 360 that was from AMC. So this motor was actually built by Jeep and Ford. So there's a lot of parts that are interchangeable with like the 350 and whatnot. We did a couple upgrades. We went with the Holley carburetor, and we also put a Champion radiator, Headman headers, and a full custom exhaust all the way to the back. The motor itself is torquey, but it doesn't have a ton of power just yet. So we're gonna get the carburetor correct, get nice timing corrected, and then hopefully we get enough power where we don't have any issues when we do change altitude. But with the carbureted engine, we're always gonna have something that we have to work on. So we'll make sure we get that correct. But the 360 is doing really, really well. The first thing we did was make sure that we had no leaks anywhere. So the engine is running really, really healthy. But yeah, we're gonna show you the interior now, and then we'll close out the video with some beauty shots. All right, so moving on to the inside, we've kept it pretty much factory as of now. We did remove the carpet because it was really, really bad, and we did kill them at the whole thing just so we can get the heat, just to kind of insulate it a little bit better. The inside is going to see some changes. The dash will probably stay the same. We probably might clean it up a little bit, bolt on everything that is loose because it does kind of shake itself off. But we are getting a new steering wheel from PRP. We are doing PRP seats in here, and we also plan on doing like a half cage so we can put our belts to it because we did get 4-point harnesses on it, and it's really just for safety because we are going to be hitting some tough trails throughout the year. So we want to make sure that A, we are comfortable, B, that we are safe. I do plan on putting some stock speakers in here, maybe a small radio just to have a little bit of sounds for those long trips. But for the most part, the interior will stay pretty much factory. We don't plan on doing much to it. Again, we do have a twin stick setup that we do need to fix still. Again, this might switch to an Atlas, we're not sure yet, but the interior itself, honestly, it's kind of classic and everything still works. The motors on the doors are a little dirty, so the windows do struggle to go up and down, but we're going to clean all that out and see if we can get them fixed. But all the switches work, all the lights work, pretty much everything still works on this truck. We're going to keep it that way. We're going to make sure that we keep it consistent with the outside and the inside so it looks very true to its age. All we're going to do is make sure it drives really, really well and that it crawls perfect. So we are going to lock the front, we are going to lock the rear. We'll talk about the improvements we're going to make. We already have parts at home that we're ready to put on, and we have some that are coming, so we'll talk about those upgrades next. But yeah, we're going to get out of here, show you some beauty shots, and then we'll talk about the final piece, what the plan for the upgrades are, and then we'll close out the video. So stick around. So now that we broke down what the truck looks like now, we're going to talk a little bit about the upgrades. First thing we're going to do is we're going to re-gear the truck so that way it has a little bit better gearing. We're going to lock it up front and rear, and then we're also going to make sure that this axles are a little stronger. So we're going to do chromoly shafts in the front, chromoly shafts in the rear, and then depending if we switch to Atlas or whatnot, we will also do drive shafts, and we are going to trust the rear axles. So we want to make sure that we have the strength so that way when we are traveling that nothing breaks. This truck weighs less than the Gladiator, and it has the same size axles, so it should be more than enough once we beef it up a little bit, because it'll be stronger than the Gladiator, so it should do fine. One of the biggest things is the big body kind of scares everybody. Everybody thinks you need tons, which would be nice to have that extra strength so that we can kind of just bounce up stuff. But we plan on walking stuff, putting it in low and just kind of letting it climb. Other than that, man, I really appreciate you guys sticking around. Enjoy the Wagoneer. Hopefully you enjoyed all the beauty shots, and you're going to see a lot of this truck. So comment below, let me know what you think I should do to it next. If you know any information that I don't know much about it. We just kind of been working on it for the last few months. A lot of people did love it at KOH, so we plan on bringing a lot of content from it once it gets completed and as we work on it, for sure. Appreciate Weston, appreciate Project X for helping me start the build. But make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Patreon. We do have merch, so hit me up if you have any questions, and appreciate you guys, man, and we'll see you in the next episode.